Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. And I am very excited to invite an old friend, not old, but a longtime friend. Are we old, Stu?
I don't know if we're old.
We're not
but
old.
We've known each other a long time.
We both agreed that we've gone gray since we've known each other. Maybe I have.
We all have.
We all have.
It looks better on you.
Well, thank you. I have heard that before, and I'm happy I'm aging gracefully. Stuart Selps, with the Director of Client Experience with Nothing But Net, was on with us. I want to say maybe 2018. 2017 on a show we had with Lori Corrigan called The Naked Truth.
That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And we had known each other before that, but that's the last time we got to see you in the studio. So I'm so thrilled that you're here and you've brought some great power partners along with you.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you. And we're going to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves in just a couple of moments, but I want to make sure everybody knows who else we have in the studio here. We also have Gus Lazare. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Lazar.
Lazar, thank you. VP of Operations and Sports and Fitness with Ability 360. Welcome, Gus.
Thank you.
And are you a longtime Arizona resident?
I've been here for 16 years.
Okay, long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Well, we look forward to getting to know you and your organization. And Lane Zetto, pronounced correctly. Hey, at least one. Chief Innovation Officer, EVP, and founder with Integro Bank. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thrilled to have you. It was so fun to see you come into the building because you were pleased that you had already landed on the Max 6 campus for, I guess it was an alliance meeting earlier this morning.
Correct. It's all together at the same building.
We love doing that for you, right? We love making it convenient. Well, we are looking forward to today's conversation. And this is an opportunity really just to highlight all the great things that you and your organization and company are up to. And then there's an intersection that I know Stuart's excited about talking about as well. So we'll make sure that we know how all this comes together as well. Stuart, since you're the pro, or at least my longtime buddy, would you be willing to introduce yourself a little bit more first? Tell us about Nothing But Net, your background, and then we'll have the other guest to that as well.
Sure. Well, thank you again for having us. And I really appreciate being here. I love the new studio. Last time I was here, you were in the old studio. And so this is just really, really nice. Excuse me. So I'm Stuart Selps. I go by Stu, so everybody calls me Stu. So let's just start there, or keep it there. I've been with Nothing But Net since the end of May of this year. We are a managed IT services provider. So we manage IT networks for small, medium, and even larger businesses. For example, Ability 360 is one of our clients. We're also a big sponsor of their golf tournament. So, we work with clients of any size. And mostly we like to focus on their business strategy and how it revolves around technology and obviously cybersecurity, because that's a huge topic. It's a topic of conversation with everybody I meet these days. It doesn't matter if you're large or small, it's, you will be compromised at some point. So what steps are you going to take to mitigate your risk? So like I said, I've been there since May of this year. I've been in this business for 35 years. And every time I say that, it just makes me feel old. And then I see all the gray. But I work for an incredible organization. Bob Cox, my boss, who's the president of the company, is an absolutely fantastic man. I've known him for 15 or 16 years. We met at a conference years ago. The beautiful thing is when I saw this position open up, actually on LinkedIn, I immediately called him right away because I always wanted to work for him. So I have a great team. So I'm going to give a shout out to Steve Maxwell, who's on my team, as well as Alex Ingram, who's on my team. Just a couple of fantastic people. Our tech support team is fantastic. It's a really good organization, and I've been around a lot of IT companies in my career. It's very well run. A lot of processes are in place, and we take our processes and put them into our clients to make sure that they're successful and they're utilizing the right technology. The one thing that sold me on wanting to work at Nothing But Net, having been around the industry, is Bob and Steve, his partner, have a philosophy of putting the customer first. And for anybody who's known me a long time, they know that I'm 100% about
That's
that.
everything.
It's always about the customer. And I've worked for organizations that have said that we're a sales organization, but no, we're really a customer service organization. And when you put the customer first, like Nothing But Net does, it really makes a difference. We'll figure out all the financial part of it later. Let's make sure they're up and running, they're taken care of, and that's the whole philosophy, and that's what our whole team does. So I'm really proud and happy to be there and representing them on the show today.
Great. Are they based out of Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in Chandler. We're very Arizona based. Mostly, most of our clients are Phoenix based, but we have clients in northern Arizona and all over the state. But most of our clients are in Phoenix, and we're over by the Chandler Mall. That's our office is right over there.
Yeah, I'm glad you reiterated that as you were kind of winding up your introduction. The first thing I heard you say was that you're not looking to fit your customers into that tech box. You're asking your clients, really, what are your needs? And then what do we have available to you to best serve you? And of course, one of those great needs is cybersecurity. It's increasingly a concern, as you said, for all business owners, big and small, and individuals for that matter as well.
Every day.
I opened up 2 obscure emails today that looked like they were from somebody I knew. And actually last week or a week or two, I got one that looked like it was from Jesse, my producer, my employee, and was asking to change the bank account for the payments that I make to him. And I'm glad I looked at the email address because it was not him.
It's funny you say that because we have a prospect that we're working with, and a lot of the times that there's a thing called social engineering, which they'll either text you or go through like LinkedIn or Facebook or something to contact people. And a prospect that we're looking for was social engineered to send out a email to a client of theirs where they got frauded out for over $50,000, and they're a small business, right? When we're talking small businesses, we're not $50,000 is a lot. We're not talking, Bank of America or MGM or any of those. We're talking small businesses, the mom and pops, and I tell people, and we hear it all the time. Oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. But it's not a matter of when you're gonna. It's not a matter of if you're going to be compromised. It's when, and it could be the simplest thing. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that big IGM or MGM compromise that was a month ago, that was all done through LinkedIn. Somebody got someone's name and password of LinkedIn, was able to
build rapport.
Build a rapport. It was a 12-minute conversation or an 8-minute conversation, and it brought down MGM. People couldn't get into their rooms. They couldn't use their credit cards. So, I don't, I hear it all the time. I don't care if it's big or small, you will be compromised. And if you're not taking steps and have a layered approach to your cybersecurity and educating, and this is the biggest part, educating your employees, you will be compromised. But we got to put those layers in place, and that's why we have a full layered approach and a framework that we insist that every one of our clients take.
Great examples for why we need that. Lane, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and, of course, Integral Bank as well?
Sure. So the other day I was counting how many years I've been in banking. And I hate to say this, it has exceeded 30 years.
Woo-hoo.
So I've been in banking for 30 years. I feel like I've done a lot, all aspects of banking. Very fortunate to really go through the management training program. I was learning everything from the bottom up and absolutely love it. And to Stu, thank you for sharing. I think my passion's also about clients. A bank is a bank, right? What problem you're solving for? What can we do to make a difference? And never could I ever believe I could start a bank from scratch. So I was one of the founders, first employee of Integral Bank. Feel very blessed that as we look at the ecosystem, it's quite broken. Large and regional banks, unfortunately, they go upstream. And during the COVID crisis, we were ranked last for PPP loan allocation. And look at how many small businesses were hurt. And there's not a lot of headquarter banks that are left in Arizona. Texas alone has over 380. We barely have 14. So something has to be done. So it's been a really good journey. We raised over $32 million in capital with 140 investors and received approval from the regulators in a really fast speed. Our former, our current CEO is amazing. I mean, if you look at his background, he actually personally was a regulator, former regulator, closed down over 780 failed banks during the last downturns. And so we all roll up our sleeves and decided to design a bank focused on small businesses. Because if you look under the hood, 99% of businesses are all small businesses. And we forget big companies were small ones and who was there for them. So we do focus on Arizona, also Nevada, um, southern part of California, but we can also support business nationally. Um, Exciting to say that we're scaling fast. Timing's been impeccable. We provide data insights, complementary valuations that could cost a small business $10,000 to $20,000, but we're able to leverage technology to really build something that's incredible that no other bank has.
Wow. How long has Integro been around?
We opened the door last year, August, and so it's been
Wow.
a
That's
year.
a fast trajectory.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You mentioned that you never really saw yourself really in this role.
Mhm.
As a young girl, what were your aspirations and dreams?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask tough questions today.
Hopefully they're friendly and kind questions.
Yes. I actually was going to go into art and entertainment, believe it or not, because it's very creative. And this is one of the reasons why I think when I was asked to do this, imagine you have a blank sheet of paper, design the bank that you think people want to see, want to experience. That really, I mean, it became my mission. And so I have to say, creativity means a lot to me. So that was my dream. Never thought I was going to be a banker.
Right. Very different.
Yes.
However, the way in which you speak and carry yourself speaks volumes about the artist in you, the creative in you, and what better way to serve clients and customers than to really understand what their needs are, as Stuart was pointing out as well, and just really making sure that people are taken care of. And clearly, in the growth that you've already had, you're definitely doing that. Yeah, very good.
Thanks.
Gus, tell us about you and Ability 360.
Well, excuse me, Ability 360, we've been around for a little over 42 years as a nonprofit in the Phoenix area. And we started grassroots, civil rights organization promoting the independence and empowerment of people with disabilities. So we're what's called a Center for Independent Living. Every region in the country has one. We receive some federal funding to do our core services and advocacy, community integration, peer mentoring, resources and referrals, and then working with youth in transition. That's the group that's typically on IEPs in high schools that are graduating around 22 years old, and finding them, proper work placements and, independent living situations. That way they can be on their own. And that's throughout, everybody that has a disability. So we're an organization that serves people of all abilities, and because we're federally funded, our core services are specific to people with disabilities. So when we do peer mentoring, we go into hospitals and we talk to people with new disabilities. As a recreational therapist, I used to work at Barrow Neurological Institute. And so I would call, back then we called ABLE, which was Arizona Bridge to Independent Living. And I would ask for a peer mentor, and you want to link it up properly. So you want someone that's been there and done that, but it's also close enough to their age. So if they had a new spinal cord injury and they're a young person, you want to bring in a younger person that's, just maybe had a spinal cord injury within the last couple of years, but it's thriving, because it's not always easy. So we do things on that level as an organization. We also, through the years, have grown. We have a home care service program that serves about 1,400 people a day, keeping people in their homes, providing non-medical based medical care, or non-medical based home care. So dressing, getting cooking, housekeeping, shopping, those type of things to keep people from living in congregate living situations. which of course, going through the pandemic was, we saw what happened in nursing homes and things like that. So all that being said, we serve that amount of people. We get paid pennies on the dollar when we do that program, but when you do it 365 days a year, we've grown into a very large nonprofit. And Nothing But Net's been there for a good chunk of that through small. And now we have 3 offices in the Valley. We have an office in Coolidge, and we also have our sports and fitness centers. So we have a campus that's on Washington, and on our campus is an office building kind of like this. It has 9 nonprofits that all serve the disability community, conference room, classrooms, and then that way there's power and partnerships. People can come to our campus and understand through the Spinal Cord Association and the Brain Injury Alliance or the MS Society. They can go all their offices in one day if they want, but we all work together pretty tightly. And then we also have the Sports and Fitness Center, which opened about 12 years ago. So it was built with purpose and intention to serve people with disabilities, but it's not a core service of an independent living center. So the Sports and Fitness Center is inclusive. And so we serve people with and without disabilities, but we're mission driven. So for example, someone that goes to Barrow for a spinal cord injury, we have transition programs for them to keep their rehabilitation goals going through our Sports and Fitness Center. And then we also sponsor teams, so we have a wheelchair rugby team. We have 5 wheelchair basketball teams. Our wheelchair football team just finished their season. It's really close to here. There's a curling club, and we actually curl on Wednesday nights, and it's really fun. You should actually do it as a corporate team builder. It's right down the street here. So we do curling. Our golf program's on Wednesdays. We have an incredible outdoor adventure program. So I go on and on, but 2 years ago we merged with an organization called Daring Adventures. They're the first group to take people with disabilities on a rafting trip down the Grand Canyon. And so we absorbed them last year. And part of that absorption or merger is we actually rafted the entire Grand Canyon with 30 people with varied disabilities. And we're on the river 10 nights. There's no electricity. There's none of this. Anything that, flushes water, plugs in, you don't have it. So it was pretty primitive, but it was incredible. And so we've grown our outdoor program recently. And what Nothing But Net supports is our golf tournament, which is in January. And that supports us providing grant opportunities to youth with disabilities to buy adapted sports equipment. So for example, I have 3 boys. Tennis shoes to play volleyball, soccer,
I've only
basketball.
got one.
So
I get it.
they're expensive, but if you want an adapted wheelchair for, say, wheelchair basketball or racing, they're $5,000 or $6,000, and that's really hard to pay for when they're not paid for by insurance. So we raise money in order to provide families that resource. The golf tournament also goes to help us support our youth service continuum. For example, this Friday night is stargazing, and we're going out to South Mountain working with an organization that's providing the telescopes and the TVs, so that way if people can't get to the telescope with their eye, they can actually see what's on the telescope and the monitor. We have 60 people going to that, and that's all sponsored through our youth continuum. And so we subsidize a lot of family programs. So beyond the Sports and Fitness Center and all of our services, we've become a community center for people with disabilities and their families to really play together, and the natural and organic mentoring that happens between the families. You can't plan that. So there might be a mom that has a daughter with cerebral palsy, for example, and there might be another mom with cerebral palsy with a child with cerebral palsy that's much younger, and they kind of, hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let me take you under my wing and let's go. So there's that opportunity as well. So we're very fortunate to be able to open our doors and provide what we do. Yes, we provide resource through our home care service program, but our other programs raise money to make sure that we supplement and we don't draw from that too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was curious as to how much of the government funding took care of you, and then where can we as a community and a group of business leaders support you?
The federal funding pays for our core services for the most part. As we've grown through the years and we've gotten grants to provide, say, social recreation programs, and we see the benefit and the impact it has on the community, we don't want that to go away. So we raise money to make sure that happens, or we draw from our home care service.
Yeah. Gus, you may have already said this. How long have you been there?
I've been at Ability 360 for a little over 9 years. I was on the advisory committee for the Sports and Fitness Center about 13 years ago. So I've been around since before the building was built.
And you mentioned you were a physical therapist, or you were a trainer. What did you do prior?
I worked at a Barrow Neurological Institute as a recreational therapist. So that role is a little bit different. So I worked with PTs and OTs and speech therapists. And basically when patients have new disabilities, we took them in the community and work on what the PTs work on out in the real world. We did a lot of aquatic therapy, and I'd actually bring patients over to the sports and fitness center and say, this is what you can do when you're done with us. And then prior to that, I worked at a hospital in California, and I ran an outdoor adventure program for people with disabilities for 12 years.
May I ask what got you interested in serving this population?
Well, it's kind of funny, as you were saying. I actually started in radio, TV, film.
Oh,
So when I was in college.
Yeah, different.
yeah.
I'm going to go back to you too, because there's got to be a great story there too.
I got stories.
I have no doubt.
So when I was in college, I was all about film. I worked in an edit studio, and it was a lot of fun. It was like right when the Avid machine came out for, editing. And I started taking recreation classes, worked for a summer camp program, and all of a sudden I was taking all these outdoor program courses. And then someone introduced me to recreation therapy. I'm like, what if we ran a program in the outdoors for people with disabilities? And unbeknownst to me, there was already a program local. So I volunteered for them, did my internship with them, then worked for them for 12 years.
Fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great story.
Yeah,
All right. So before we go to another question, when Stu was a little guy, a young lad, did you always want to be in IT? Have you always been an IT nerd?
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Are you a musician too? Do I remember?
Yeah, I that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I realized it took too much work and whatever. But you know what? Computers were not a thing when I graduated high school in the 80s, right? It wasn't a thing. I would say I got lucky getting into IT. I don't know. It's built a really good career for me. There's so many things that I wanted to be when I was a little kid. I could never make up my mind. And I'm, again, at my age, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. It changes all the time. And I think it changes with the people I meet. Like I've met Elaine this year, and she's like one of my best friends. We have a group of 4 of us that it's 3 ladies and myself. So I'm very, very fortunate. And unfortunately, the other 2 ladies couldn't be here today. And I know Monica is sick, and Lisa has a million things going on, but there's the 4 of us that we want to change the world together. And we try to meet for wine. We were trying to do it once a month, but everyone's super busy. But it's that whole network of, again, I'm getting past the original question of what did little Stu want to do when he was young. If you ask my mom, she wanted me to be a dentist. I don't like putting my hands even in my own mouth. But I went from wanting to be a fireman to a policeman to wanting to be a studio musician to not knowing what I wanted to do, and whatever.
IT found you.
IT found really it was just business found me. And I've been in IT, and then I was a chief operation officer, and then I really like business operations and looking for putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think that's why IT really is attractive to me as a career, because it's not always it's not finding a problem, but it's finding the solution to the problem. And I love that. I thrive on that. And I'll stay awake at night if there's a problem, or like balancing my checkbook. If it's off by 8 cents or something like that, I will search and search and search and search until I find the problem. It's like the game Tetris. I want to get everything in the right spot. And that's just my personality. I want to fix everything. And even my mom would say that I would bring home strays and try to fix the world. And, when there's a problem with something, people call me, and even if they're not clients or they just know me, they know I have a resource for something. And they know I could reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need da 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 da. It just happened with you the other day. You need charcuterie, right?
Yeah,
I met a
of all things, I love it.
I met a charcuterie person, and so as I meet people and I get to know them and I appreciate them, I do a lot of networking. I even have my own networking event I put on Business and Brews every single month, which is a lot of fun. We limit it to 50 people because I want good networking. And one of the things that I started that for is for a safe space. There are so many networking events out there, and fortunately, I would say that I'm fortunate that I meet a lot of female business people who are, I'm just going to say it, they're very attractive, and sometimes they just don't feel safe at a networking event. And so I wanted to create a very safe space, be the protector kind of thing. And my wife just laughs at me all the time. But I wanted to create an event that it was fun, non-committal. You didn't have to join anything. And it just showed up and met people. And I had someone tell me at the last event, he got 3 new customers out of it.
Love
Mm.
it.
So it's, makes me super happy to do that. So yeah, what I try to connect people and try
Well,
to fix problems.
You're very generous with that. I know we don't get to see each other very often. However, we're always a champion for each other. And I think we're similar. We care deeply about people and we want to make sure that we can make those introductions. And a lot of times people hold that very close to their chest or their vest and they're not willing to do that. And you've not only built your career around relationships and communication, but also this whole networking piece and making sure that people are taken care of. And thank you. I as much as I'm out in the public in my role and love to be with people, I don't really necessarily like networking very much. I want a deeper conversation, which is why I've created Phoenix Business RadioX and the format in which we have these conversations. But put me in a networking space with even just as small as 50 people, 100 people, that small talk. Yeah, Gus is nodding his head. No, I stumble and I have such a disconnect because I deeply want to know you and I want to know you better. And I don't want just the 30-second sound bite where somebody else is thinking, who else can I meet? And that whole distraction. So I've been receiving your invitations to come to
Yeah.
Brews and
Business and
Brews. And
Yeah.
one of these days I'll
Yeah.
come, even though I'll come nervously.
No,
And-
it's fun. So, I have it. So it's businessandbrewsaz.com if anybody wants to know the website.
Thank you.
I limit it to 50 people and I've been getting 30 or 40 people registering and I get 12 or 15 showing up. So it's always a really small, intimate event.
Perfect.
And the thing that I like about it, I get to talk to everybody.
Yes.
And I get to make introductions because typically everybody knows me because it's all part of my network. And the funny thing is I'm training Alex on my team. And I'm like, you don't go into a networking, and this is something I learned from our friend Dave Sherman. If anybody remembers Dave Sherman, the networking guy out there. So that's my shout out to my cigar buddy. But you don't go to a networking event to sell.
Right.
I go to a networking event to meet somebody new, right? Meet somebody that I could collaborate with. And I like using the term collaborate or partner with because you never know where it's going to lead. You're not making a sale right away, but what if I know somebody? Or what if, you know somebody that might be right for me? And if we just hit it off and just, it's so hard at our age to make friends, right? And most of our friends are in our business community. And so, that's where I have like Elaine and Lisa and Monica, they're my friends. And we hang out together when we can. And it's all done through business and networking. And, it's how we got to know each other. And we spend so much time at work. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of one of those things.
I actually have 2 comments. So I want to applaud you, Stu, because typically IT folks don't really necessarily like people.
Right.
So you have a gift. So I wanted to just make sure you're aware that that is a gift. And then secondly, I really think that after COVID, people miss people.
Mm.
And part of the discussion here reminded me what set us apart as Integral Bank. I did start the CEO Club. And that's where I think, Stu,
Yeah, that's
you
where
and
I
I
met you.
met, right? So what we do is we bring insights and tools, to our business leaders in the community. And almost every month, we'll have featured speakers and then share ideas. And what we did really is creating that connection and community. And people walk away with so many great insights, and they, like you said, they will have create business for each other, opportunities. What's on top of your mind? What are your top challenges? Oh my gosh, this feature speaker, so inspirational, giving us a lot of tools to work with, and it just became such a big thing. So as a client, you become a member, and it's just been grown leaps and bounds?
Unless it's rainbows and marshmallows, right?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
how we met.
Yes, that's right.
So I've been to their CEO club a few times. It's wonderful. It's really great people. They're all business leaders. It's wonderful. It's a great event.
It was the women leaders
the women-
fireside chat. So you want to share his comments? It was so funny.
So
I had 100 people.
It was great. It was a great
Yeah.
event, and Elaine's moderating it. Monica Maydun at Arizona Escrow, who's a client and was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, she's sick, and we hope she gets better soon. Was on the panel, so she asked me to be there, and I'm listening diligently to these women business owners who have become very successful. And one of the things I wanted to learn as a man is what were their challenges being female on the way up, right? And after the fireside chat, I'm talking to Monica, and Elaine comes over, and I'm introduced. She's like, "What?" And we just immediately hit it off. She's like, "So, Stu, what'd you think?" I'm like, "Well, it was really nice, but it was too much rainbows and marshmallows." They told all about the good, sweet stuff, but they didn't talk about their challenges. And I would have loved to learn about their challenges and what knocked them down along the way.
Because we've all had that.
We've all male, female, people of color, race, whatever. Someone's going to try to knock you down, right? And I wrote a LinkedIn article the next day, about, and I've been a business owner and I've been kicked in the teeth, about it's not all rainbows and marshmallows. It's on my LinkedIn profile if anybody wants to read it. But it was, and I sent it to Elaine. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you wrote this." The next, literally, I think I went home that night.
Brilliant.
Well, so listen, one of the female leaders did say that she started her business in her bedroom.
She did.
Right.
Right.
So it was a tough time for her.
And she also mentioned that when she got her first office, she had a cot in there that she would sleep at her office.
Yeah.
Right.
And
but that was the only glimpse, huh?
That was the only kind of
Yeah.
glimpse. But I do know, so like Monica was on the panel, and I do know her story because when I had my IT company, she was my client. So I've known her 20 years, give or take. She'll say 25, but I haven't lived in Arizona for 25 years, just so you know, Monica. But I do know how the male previous CEO tried to stop her from getting her education and, from growing as part of the company. And she did a lot on her own. And she's a wonderful, 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 strong woman who I have tremendous respect and love for as a friend, as a client, as part of my inner circle. But I wanted to hear from the other people as well. I was really kind of interested in what that struggle was like. And there was a lady who's African American, a lady who is Latino, right?
Yep.
So I wanted to know what their struggle was, and I'm still waiting for the introduction from you because I do want to meet with them, and I want to learn about that.
Absolutely.
Because that helps me relate to other people. Because I always want to learn how to relate to other people. So, but the CEO club is awesome.
Thank you.
So, and how do people become members of the CEO club? You mentioned that they are clients of Integral Bank.
Correct.
And then they're welcome to participate as long as they're at a C-suite level.
Well, every business owner, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
still C-suite.
Yeah.
Decision makers.
Right. Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
I would love for each of you to share, and this is, I just want us to go another little level deeper. What do you think the driving factors are for success, either for your organization or even just as a leader, as an individual, in the way in which you guys show up in life? So what does that look like for you? What are the driving factors for success? And I know this is kind of a, pop it, here we go. It doesn't have to be something rehearsed. Who wants to go first?
Stu and I were talking a little bit before we got in here, and what makes our program successful is having people with passion behind it. If you tell someone to do a job and they don't want to do it, they'll do it because you've asked them to, or it's as part of their role, but it's not going to have the same quality of something that they enjoy doing. And it's okay to like your job. I love my job. There are parts of my job that we all can probably look around and say we don't like dealing with personnel issues. I mean, if you do,
good for you, and you're
talk to me.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen as you're part of your role. But as things have evolved at Ability 360, particularly in the sports and fitness center, I found people that are passionate about A, B, or C, and that's what makes those programs successful. I'll let a program go if there's not someone behind it that's not going to go full force into it,
Mhm.
because it's not going to have the same quality. And for us as a nonprofit that serves the community, we want to make an impact. We work hard for our money like everybody else does, but when you are responsible for, grant funding or reporting things, I have a grant report due to the Coyotes and one to another group. You want to show off, you want to tell them what you did with their money, and it makes an impact. So finding that passion behind people is really kind of what makes things successful in my book.
I love it.
So if I could add to that, it's really the purpose
Mhm.
with passion, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so to me, I think I feel very fulfilled right now because we are mission-based bank. We have a purpose, and the way that we think is that if we can help a small business, grow, that means they're going to have the ability to hire more people.
Mhm.
And as they do that, the employment rate goes up. We're transforming lives, and this is how we are building a stronger community. And we forget they're really the engine, right, of our economy. And so, to your point, I think when you have a purpose back up with your passion, and if you can get everybody empowered to move that ship together with the same direction, it's very powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So I'm just adding to what you said.
Perfect.
I agree with the both of you. IT is an interesting field to be in. My passion is to serve people, 100%. I don't care what level it is, whether it's connecting them or keeping their computers connected. Right? It's all about serving people, and I also have a philosophy as I'm building out my team. I'm a slow to hire, quick to fire kind of person. Right? If you don't, I mean, I hire for the sales team or the customer success team, and that's I'm in charge of sales and that generating revenue. Um, but if I hire somebody and they quote unquote sell me in that interview process and they're not what they say they are, then they're not going to work for me. Um, Having integrity in this world, I feel is more, it's needed more today than ever before. Post pandemic, um, I say this all the time. I feel that we live in a very cynical society, and we're so divided. And I heard an amazing speaker not too long ago. He says we're the we're not the United States of America. We're the divided states of America. And I think we are. And I think in this time that we're all here and we're mostly small businesses listening to this show and they might be nodding like we all are in the studio right now. I think we need to have compassion as well as passion. I think we need to have compassion for one another. I think we need to wait a minute. We shouldn't be getting upset with each other. We should be trying to work together and make, this may be kumbaya, but try to make the world just a little bit better place. Because I don't have children, but I have friends who have children that are growing up in this time. And I'm just kind of, scratching my head going, why? So I think we need to have compassion, to have passion, to make the world a better place, to serve. We're all in the business of customer service, whether you're a nonprofit or a bank or an IT
Right.
or a radio show or, a waiter or waitress, or it doesn't matter what you do. We're all in the business of customer service. We all have to interact with one another. And if we could just be a little bit nicer, have a little bit more compassion, to have passion for our jobs, I think the world would be a better place. I think everybody would make more money. I think everybody would be happier. I think we'd have a better level of customer service because people use customer service as a punchline to a joke at a cocktail party these days.
Right. Yeah, so beautifully said. Just like every business these days are IT businesses in some way or another, every business is about relationships. Period. You have to have solid relationships in order to succeed, and everything that you guys have laid out around the factors for success are important aspects of leadership and growth. The thing that I would kind of add or plus one there would be to hold on to a vision and be really clear about that vision. I know for my own growth and trajectory with Business radioX, it's been almost 7 years since I've owned the studio. I've lost my way a little bit. I've not lost my passion. I've not lost my servant leadership mentality or any of those things. I've been really clear. I've stayed in integrity. The piece that when the things got tough, and they got tough for a while, the thing that I had a hard time was attaching myself to a vision. Like, what is clearly in front of me? And that way, the hard lifting and the difficult times, if I can continue to see myself out here a little bit in the future or way out in the future, then I can continue to do the hard work. And sometimes I've kind of lost that, and fortunately have just recently regained that again as I've kind of retooled and made some decisions in the business. So thank you each for sharing that. On that note, where do you see your organizations and your companies going in the next, say, the next couple of years? And equally important, how can we as a business community support your success? So Gus, can I ask you to go first? I know each of you kind of touched on a little bit, but what's next for you guys in 2024 and a couple years beyond? And then how can we best support your goals and mission?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
So part of actually, there's a vote today in the city of Phoenix and for improvements to schools, parks, and things like that. If that vote goes through, which I hope it does, we actually occupy a building at Telephone Pioneer Park up off 19th and Bell. And it was the country's first barrier-free park. So pre-Americans with Disabilities Act. So, but it was built by a group of volunteers that worked for the phone company. And they had a great heart. And then they ended up donating it to the city of Phoenix because they didn't know how to run a park, and which was fine. But that park is a little bit older. And if this bond goes through, that park specifically will get 2.1 million. And we've talked to the city of Phoenix about, because we occupy the building there and provide services there, how we can work together and make that a better place for the whole community. So if that goes through today, then we're going to have a capital campaign on our hands to make that park the best park in the country, bring it back to where it should be, provide services up there that we've been looking forward to doing. That's one big project that we're going to be doing. As an organization, I think we all want to hire quality employees. You know, when you talk about, quick to hire, or slow to hire, quick to fire, it's about building your staff as well. And when you talk about compassion and grace, that's really important. When you're working with people, there's a couple great, I know we all seen great videos on that. One of our favorite guys his name's Phil Beckner, and he promotes something called Be Better, Be Different. And you can always be better, you can always be different, but if you're both, you're elite, and you take it to the next level and you pour into people. And that's what we need. We need people that we can pour into to make our programs better, because we all do the right thing. It's just finding the right people to fit the puzzle pieces in Tetris or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us. So across our board, we're a very large organization with a lot of different services. I can focus on my areas, whether it's operations or the sports and fitness center, but I know within our advocacy department, we impact people with new and old disabilities, of all ages and all abilities. So it's just promoting our services and making sure people know the resources that are out there in the community and making them affordable to those that might not have the resource to do it.
For our listeners and viewers who are not familiar or haven't yet gotten involved with your organization, what's a great way to start with you guys?
I would go to our website, ability360.org. There's a lot of layers. So it's kind of putting in a keyword, look at our schedule, find out what's going on, whether it's a adapted sports tournament or the community events like stargazing. We're taking a group of 150 people to Zoo Lights. I mean, we're supposed to do a group picture. We're not going to do a group picture. But I mean, it's just those type of things. And then just a quick story. One of our swim coach has spina bifida. And as an athlete growing up locally, he wanted to be on swim teams and whatnot. So he swam Alcatraz a couple times when he was a youth. We're talking 6th grade, 9th grade. And he comes to me and he goes, Gus, I'm thinking about, our team's called the Narwhals. And some of the Narwhals want to swim Alcatraz. I'm like, let's go. It wasn't even a question. So, because he's going to lead the group, and there's a group in, outside of, in the Bay Area that does Alcatraz swims, and we're just going to do one of them with them. We're going to train for it. We're not going to let everybody go, of course, but they got to be ready for it before they jump in the water up there. And those are the types of things that we can take to the next level. And there's just a lot of layers. So when you look at our schedule, our website can actually be overwhelming, and that's something we're trying to work on, is that we can pinpoint certain things. But we believe in the power of partnership. So if we don't do it, we refer people to other places and things like that.
You offer so much. And I had forgotten at your facility on Washington that you shared that space with the other nonprofits. That's such an important aspect, and it's a beautiful facility.
It is. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, good. The business community for business owners and executive leaders, are there opportunities as companies much like Nothing But Net to get involved? Is that helping to sponsor the golf tournament or those kinds of things? How can we directly as a business community be there for you?
I think the best way is to come for a tour.
Okay.
Come onto our campus, and then we can have a
Perfect.
conversation. We can get people involved on many different levels. We love volunteers for our events. A lot of times people go, well, we would want to do a work project. Well, I got a work project for you, believe it or not. So it's coming for a tour and having that conversation and finding a mutual connection, so that way we can benefit each other in the way we want to do it.
So that's meaningful.
Mhm.
Yeah, love it. And the golf tournament is
January 19th.
January 19th, and the registration is already.
It's all online. Foursomes are signing up. It's at TPC. So it's a couple weeks before the big dog tournament. So we get to play on 16 the way all the pros do. Be ready to play. It's set up hard. It's a great course. It's beautiful. We've had great weather every time, and it's a great event. And there's not a lot. We don't let a lot of people in. It's not. I'm not going to say exclusive, but it's got a price tag to it because you're playing one of the best golf courses in the world right before the pros do on their tournament. And it's something special to be on the hole 16. It's a lot quieter than it is during the Open. So just be ready.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that Nothing But Net's the presenting sponsor of that. So it's very exciting for me to be part of that with Bob. And Bob's been the presenting sponsor. I think it's the second year now, but he's always been involved. So now I get to play.
He typically wins.
And
Oh, does he?
Bob typically
All right, Bob,
wins.
challenges out there. We
Yeah.
expect you to win this year.
Well, I don't know. He's supposed to be in Hawaii, though.
Oh,
right?
really?
So
Can you phone it in from Hawaii? I don't know that you can.
No, I think a
I don't
presenting
know.
sponsor can.
Right. If you're the presenting
So
sponsor, you can
that's
do
why
it.
I have to play it. I guess I need to start working on my golf game so I can bring back the trophy, so I don't let Bob down.
I love it. And thank you for thinking to include Ability 360 and have Gus join us today. It's really a special opportunity for us to sit and listen about really the legacy that you guys continue to have on behalf of not only the greater Phoenix community, but the folks who really need us the most, right?
Happy to do it.
Yeah, love it.
There's so many great nonprofits in the
Oh,
city.
it's incredible.
It really is. And that, again, that's one of the business areas that we at Nothing But Net focus on. But I keep meeting great, amazing people that do things for whether it's kids or people with disabilities. And it just, I personally want to help them all.
I do too.
But there's only so much money.
Right. And time and resources. However, that's part of our joy here at Phoenix Business Radio X is making sure that when we have business leaders who are advocates for a charitable organization, right, that we get them on here as well. And so thank you for that introduction. How about Nothing But Net, right? The question is the same. What's in the future for you guys? And then again, as a business community, what kind of introductions make the most are most important to you? And then I would love for you, after we talk about Nothing But Net, to again give kind of a shout out on behalf of Business and Brews as well.
Okay. Nothing But Net, as I personally look at where the economy is going, I don't know if it's going to be a flat year in 2024 or a growth year. I want it to be a growth year. Obviously running sales, that's how I make a living, right? I feel that we're going to have significant growth in 2024. I think some of our clients might be flat, but we're going to help them push things forward. So I think I really want to take our consulting arm of what my team does and sit down with more of our clients to understand their business. So I think that's how we're going to change things. We're going to be more at that C-level table with our clients. We want to work with all size companies, 10 employees to 10,000 basically, and 10 employees to let's say 1,000. We work with, different size companies. Ability 360's got, I don't know, 400 people or so, give or take. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. In our home care, we have 1,400, but
Yeah.
Wow.
we have our main staff's 125-ish.
Okay, so 125. We have construction companies that are 150. I'm looking at working with some other organizations that are 1,500, but we also work with companies that are 5 people. I like working with companies that understand that there's pain to IT and they're not experts. I want them to do what they do best, right? We do what we do best, and our team is very good at that, and so we want to help companies grow by utilizing technology. I think 2024 is going to be pretty bright. I'm optimistic about next year. It is an election year, which scares the living daylights out of me. But I think that if we put the noise of the election behind us,
Yeah.
or just stick a pin in it, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I don't think it's going to really affect small businesses in this community, in the greater Phoenix community. It might affect the banking more than a nonprofit or nothing but net. But I do think if we can put the noise behind us, work together, I think everybody will be have some growth in 2024. I think it'll be a good year.
I love it. Again, how do we stay in touch with Business and Brews? And is that an open invitation?
It's an open
Yeah.
invitation. We do not have membership. I do charge a small fee
As
for
you
it,
should.
just because I've got some costs for it.
Yeah.
It's businessandbrewsaz.com. You can read about what we're about. There's some photos on there. We have what is it? A Facebook page? Yeah, that thing, that the noise, right?
Right.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, no membership fee. I think it's $5. The Christmas event is going to be it's going to be $25 for that. But we're having a ugly sweater contest.
Oh, very
and
fun.
it's going to be over here in Tempe. The one for November is at Birdie's Bar and Grill in Mesa,
Yeah.
at Fountain of the Sun Golf Course. The one in December is going to be a lot of fun. It's at my 100 Mile Brewing here
I
in
was
Tempe.
just there for my 40th high
I
school
saw that.
reunion.
I saw that.
They
And-
were fantastic. So I
Oh.
went to Tempe, went to McClintock High School right here in Tempe,
Okay.
and we just had our 40th high school reunion. They were fantastic.
Sue and her team were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Sue and
She's-
Todd, they were amazing. We couldn't have picked a better place. And you know that the servers love the group that they're serving when they are the ones behind the bar saying, "You guys were the nicest group that we've
Yeah.
ever had." So see if you can beat that, or at least get that same
Well,
compliment.
we have the patio for that
So
one.
good. Oh, good.
And so this time of year, obviously being in Arizona, we
Yeah.
want to be outside. So I'm trying to look for fun open patios where people can talk and
You've made the right choice.
And so even like last month, we were at Patent 139 Brewing in Chandler, which is Tim Haas and his team are fantastic. So again, the Business and Brews, it's all about supporting small businesses,
Yeah.
right? So I have met local breweries or local bars that are owned by local people,
Yep.
and I want to bring the local community in there because, what's better than just at the end of a day having a cold beer and a good conversation with someone,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
multiple cold beers.
I am a non-drinker as of a full year now. However, that doesn't mean I'm not going to go and hang out and watch everybody else drink a beer or have a glass of wine in the smaller groups. I want to give a shout out to Eric Miller with PADT because he and I were together in August at the CEO retreat in Sedona with Arizona Technology Council, and your name came up, Stu. We went for a hike. For those of us who weren't golfing, he and his company organized a hike. We did that, and then I think there was 8 or 9 of us, and we were all supposed to eat lunch afterwards together. And it was such a hot day that day. You can imagine August. And we all, go back to the hotel, check out, shower. We go to the restaurant. I'm the first one there. I'm like, yeah, I think there's going to be a group of 8 or 9, and Eric shows up. Nobody else. It's just he and I. So we're like, do you want to stay for lunch? And we did. And in this beautiful conversation, I really got to know him at a deeper level, which was really special because, like you and I, we've been in the same circle for a while. And he said, you really ought to connect with Stu. He's doing some great things in our community. He's a connector like you are. And so that's what prompted me to have Kendra reach out and say, hey, let's make sure that Stu's back on with us after having been on with A Naked Truth. So shout out to Eric and
Thanks, Eric.
And a great appreciation for you and all you do for our business community. It really shines through in everything you do. So
well, it's
thank
been
you.
very good to me throughout my career in the 20 something years that I've been here in Phoenix, and Phoenix is my adopted home, and I met my wife here, so this is home to me now.
I've got to meet your wife.
My wife's amazing.
I have no doubt that she is. I would love to just bend her ear and find out again
She is.
All things
She's going to be at the
Stu.
next two Business and Brew
Oh,
events.
good.
Yeah.
When is the December one?
December 12th, which is
Okay.
actually the day after my birthday. So it's going to be a big party.
I'm a
Wow.
December baby as well.
Yeah.
December 18.
All right. Well, on the
gosh.
11th, so
Okay.
we almost share. We have a week.
Right. We're
Um,
Sagittarius, right?
Yes, we are
Very good.
Sagittarius.
Okay,
And,
well,
and my wife is retiring in February.
Oh my
so
gosh. Wow.
yeah, so my life's just going to get that much better.
That much more exciting. I love it. Good
Yeah.
for both of you. Congratulations to, and your wife's name is?
Lori.
Good. Congratulations to Lori. Lane, bring us home. Tell us,
Yes.
what is Integral Bank up to in the next 2024, the next couple of years? And again, as a business community,
Right.
how can we continue to get you connected?
Thank you for asking such a great question. I think that timing is impeccable, right? The time that we start the bank, I know interest rate continue to rise, and a lot of clients and customers in general are really suffering. Also, the fact that a lot of banks are scaling back, but we're not scaling back. We're growing. So we're building the best team. We continue to lend. Our balance sheet is looking really, really good. Understand that although we're focusing on Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California, we are still working on a number of key initiatives. So, for example, and Gus, I have to tell you, our consulting platform and the consulting that we do is called Integral 360. So we have some commonality. Understand that the ability to give our clients peer-to-peer analysis to let them know where they stand relative to their competitors within the industry, the data is incredibly powerful. Coupled with complementary evaluation, I mean, no one does that. So I just want to point out with the technology piece, Stu, I think, as we talk about it, it can be so powerful as it will build out and continue to expand our competitive advantage. Access to executives as well as our CEO club. I mean, these are differentiating factors that we really want to ensure that everybody take advantage of. So ultimately, we want to take our company public. And that is something on the horizon. So I'm really excited to make that announcement.
I love it.
So we are in many ways, protected from this public, right? The public setting. But when we are ready to take it to public, it's going to be the best time, I think, in our projection and what we lined up. So if you are not happy with your bank, or you just simply want to gain some insights, consultation one-on-one, know where you stand relative to your competitors, just contact us. I mean, Integral .bank is our website, and or you can reach out to me through LinkedIn.
And how many locations?
We have one business center
Yeah.
as our headquarter on Bell and 101.
Okay.
But we pretty much allow you bank any way you want.
Yep.
Or bankers can go to your, a site, or we can do a Zoom call, or you can stop by.
That
So
is
it's-
the future of banking, is
Right.
it not? Yeah, for
Right.
sure. I go into my bank and it's ghost town.
I know.
And I always think, oh yeah, really, only when I have a check on hand. Otherwise, it's
Right.
all online, and yet it sounds like you are very well connected and stay really that side pocket with all of your members as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Love
And
it.
you can call us Petite Bank. That will the red carpet service for you.
Oh,
They have
perfect.
a lovely location
Yeah.
in North Central Phoenix. So North Central, Northwest.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful facility. So
Yeah.
So Karen, you're going to appreciate this. We do have coffee bar during the
Okay.
day and
I
wine
do-
bar by the night.
Excellent.
Remember?
Coffee is my only vice.
Yes.
I will admit to that. Yeah. And there are occasions that I do miss wine and beer, but for whatever reason, I've made that decision. It was something that just kind of fell out of some personal growth work. And I'm like, all right, well, it was 90 days. I was going to give it up for 90 days. And
Oh.
now I'm a year later.
Wow.
Like still don't really have it as part of my life. So fantastic conversation. Thank you all for
you.
being here
Thank
today
you.
and getting to know each other better. This is, as Stu has said, is how we get to know each other, and then we can show up and better support each other and be champions for what we're all up to in this world. So thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business and nonprofit. Until next time, Karen Nowicki and banking, and banking as well. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.